You know, we are fast approaching 200,000 lives claimed by the coronavirus pandemic, but here's how you know who framed the crisis to the public's really back in February. Take a look.
There's a theory that in April, when it gets warm, historically, that has been able to kill the virus. The people are getting better. They're all getting better. It's a little like the regular flu that we have flu shots for. And we'll essentially have a flu shot for this in a fairly quick manner. And we're prepared, and we're doing a great job with it, and it will go away. Just stay calm. I was talking about what we're doing is under control, but I'm not talking about the virus.
But apparently, behind the scenes, he was giving journalist Bob Woodward a much more grim outlook on audio tapes Woodward was recording for his upcoming book, Rage. Take a listen.
You just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. Now it's turning out it's not just old people, Bob, because today and yesterday some startling facts came out. It's not just older.
Yeah.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want to create a panic.
So he's calling this a political hit job, but I mean, you heard the words coming out of his mouth. So what's your take on this, Joy? I mean, was it a surprise to hear him admit all of this to Bob Woodward?
No, because he's not that bright. You know, who gives 18 interviews to Bob Woodward? I mean, that's really stupid. But, you know, this morning I was watching the news, and a lot of people are talking about what he said and everything. But I'd like to talk about something, because as criminally negligent as Trump is, I'd like to indict the enablers for a moment, if I may. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, Senator Kramer of North Dakota. The silence from the Republican leadership on Bountygate was deafening, and on calling dead soldiers losers. But this is what I would call negligent genocide. Trump knew the virus was deadly. He held rallies. He encouraged people to go out and not wear masks, socialize, go out and enjoy yourselves. It's going to be gone in a minute. And what do the enablers say? I haven't read the book. This is a gotcha book, or they say nothing. I would like to call on Mitt Romney today to open up his mouth, because he's the only one we can rely on to even say this much. Okay? Find your testicularity, Senator Romney, and speak out today. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's terrifying.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think it's terrifying. I mean, if you look at the numbers now, given what we know, 3 out of 4 people who died from COVID-19 would still be alive. So when Joy says mass genocide, you have 200,000 people dead now, and that falls squarely on this president. Now he's saying, well, he didn't want to panic people. We know he sows panic. We know he traffics in violence. He traffics in chaos. And you know, what would have been so, why would he think that having a national mask mandate, why would he think that mobilizing the Defense Production Act, why would he think that getting PPE to first responders would, unleash mass panic? That is just the sign of true leadership. So this falls squarely on his shoulders, and I think anyone who had a family member, a loved one, a friend who died from COVID-19 and still supports Trump, I don't understand that. And I wonder, you know, what would it take for a Trump supporter now at this point to change their support of him? I mean, we now know about Bolton. We now know about Mattis. We now know about the Cohen story. We now know what Mary Trump says about him. Now we have what Woodward said. I wonder, Megan, can you answer that question? Like, what would make a Trump supporter at this point change their minds, knowing everything?
This won't do it. I mean, and again, I know there's a lot of horror on this, and I actually have
two buckets I want to hit, if that's okay. The first part about this is when you're talking about enablers, there was a lot of misinformation going around about the virus from the very beginning. And when Dr. Fauci actually yesterday said he, quote, didn't get any sense Trump was distorting anything about the coronavirus. As a conservative, I am always questioning big government. I'm always questioning our leaders. I think for the most part, everyone who works in D.C. is an idiot. And I remember being told that masks are fine, I can travel safely, and the coronavirus was no worse than the flu for a long period of time. So there was a lot of misinformation. I will say that I heard that, Joy. Just let me finish, and then you can talk. I will say, right now, a new CBS poll came out saying that 60% of the American public distrust President Trump on the coronavirus, but 65% distrust the media. And I think if we go back in time, there was a period of time when Nancy Pelosi was going to Chinatown saying, come around here, that it's racist to close the borders, that it's racist to put a cap on China. And I think it's bad all the way around. But going to the initial point of this Bob Woodward interview, I cannot tell you the levels of insanity and stupidity you have to be in politics to give 18 hours to any journalist on the record, period. If Bob Woodward said, hey, Megyn, what did you have for breakfast? I'd say, off the record, Bob, no comment. And then I would call my war room and I would call my spin room and I'd say, what does he want? What's going on? And what kind of angle does he have? Because as Republicans, this is almost famous all the time. They're the enemy and they are here to make you look bad. So the idea that you're going to let literally a shark come in the White House.
Enemy.
What do you think is going to happen? For a Republican, the media is. I would never let my principal ever, under any circumstances, do an on-the-record interview with someone like Bob Woodward for a book. Sorry,
Senator McCaskill said he's too stupid to be president.
What I was going to say,
I
Megyn,
saw her
is
yesterday. She was good.
You can't read that article without being slightly dumbfounded at how this even happens. But I do think that President Trump's lack of leadership absolutely increased the death toll, the suffering, and also for people that support him, like the economy took a huge hit, and it was dragged out. This whole shutdown is a result of information we not only didn't have because it wasn't shared, but intentionally twisted at times to make you think the opposite was true. And I think from wavering on the testing, as Sonny said, to repeatedly minimizing the mask, even to this day, he minimizes the use of the mask. And that month alone that he said he knew it was airborne, he had 5 large indoor rallies with his supporters in 5 different cities here in the country. And so now as you look at the 200,000 dead, the millions of lost jobs, a school system that barely knows how to function right now, the millions suffering possible long-term effects from getting this virus, which we don't even know. I blame President Trump. I also do blame anyone in the administration who knew anything about this information and didn't speak up. And I do hold Bob Woodward accountable as well.
Well, the question I have, and I think it's the question a lot of Americans have right now, yes, it's very bad. The buck always stops with the president. Yeah. But when we're talking about people like Dr. Fauci coming out yesterday saying didn't get any sense Trump was distorting anything about the coronavirus, you want to know why the American public distrusts D.C. in general? Because it looks like we've just been lied to this entire time, and they're enablers and people in the media that let it happen.
This can be solved. This can be solved very easily for these people if they just listen to the tapes, okay? That's how you solve the problem of what you're describing. Just listen to the tapes.
Dr. Fauci always... Sorry,
also, it's all right. I just wanted to say, I mean, one of the initial things you understand immediately is when you hear him say, yeah, it's this and it's that, you think, but if you knew that, there would have been no confusion as to whether we should be wearing masks. There would be no confusion about what we should be doing, because when someone says, hey, there's something and it's worse than the flu and we need to get on top of it because we want to get it right, we want to take care of it. That's what you do when you're a leader. What we've gone through these, several months of hell is because the person at the top didn't say, I got this, here's the direction we need to go in. That's what we've been lacking, and that's why we're in the situation we're in now. I just keep waiting for Godzilla to come out of the East River. 2020 has been like crazy. So now nothing surprises me.